Hey everybody! We got to go see Guardians of the Galaxy last night, and there's been a lot of talk about Guardians of the Galaxy and how it's like the best movie of the year and how it's the best Marvel movie to date. A lot of people have been saying that. A lot of hyperbole getting thrown around about this movie, and it is that good.
Yeah, it's pretty much
that good. We've been talking for a long time, hyping this movie, can't wait for this movie. And it was that good.
Yeah.
People have been so excited about this movie, even around the office, that I literally couldn't get anybody to shoot this review. Literally, there's nobody running the camera right now.
Yeah, they don't want spoilers.
I'd say turn around the camera to see that there's nobody there, but there's nobody to turn around the camera. So if we're out of focus and the sound is a little messed up, it's because literally I couldn't get anybody to listen to us talk about the movie because they already have their tickets for later this week. So, Mark, why was it that good?
It had all the recipe for just like the perfect adventure film. Reminiscent of Star Wars, Star Trek.
It reminded me of movies of Spielberg at the height of his career. Like, it opens up with Star-Lord as a kid, with Pratt's character as a kid, and it shows this young child
going through the most traumatic
very traumatic, weighty things, and having having to deal with emotions that are normally reserved for adults, which is like a hallmark of Spielberg, and that's E.T. And then immediately, like in the span of the Marvel company logo, becomes Raiders of the Lost Ark. It starts out with you, with you just falling for this kid. Like, the heart of the movie is established immediately. Scene one is this really sweet, really charming, really sad story about this kid, and that carries through into every aspect of the movie. And that's really what the movie becomes about. Is it's about a kid sort of ultimately having to grow up, 26 years later. After all these adventures, he realizes there's more to life and all that good stuff. Every part of the movie is tied into that. There's this childlike wonder, looking out at the stars and looking out at space, because the vistas of space were gorgeous.
Some of the best visuals, I think, in a space movie. I mean, it blew Star Trek out of the water. It had a pitch perfect cast. I mean, you had Chris Pratt, who elevated every scene he was in.
Chris Pratt, solid gold.
Solid gold. It's kind of sad that his comedic career is over, because now he is like at the top of everybody's A-list.
Because now he's got a star in every movie.
Yeah, he's going to go into Jurassic Park now and kill that.
I tell you what, he immediately became the only person on my list to play Indiana Jones. If you look at everybody else in the movie, if you look at their best scenes, it's opposite Pratt.
Yeah.
Like, nobody else does anything off on their own that really stands out. But when they do stand out as a character, it's a moment opposite
with
Pratt.
him.
Drax.
Batista,
Dave Batista as Drax was so good.
You see this happen a few times, like with The Rock, where you get this WWE wrestler guy coming in, and then we're all reminded, oh, yeah, they're actors.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It's not a sport. Some of the weightier stuff doesn't quite get there.
Weak, but the character is such that it's a character he comes from a culture that's completely literal, and so it feels real.
Drax is an interesting example of characters that have changed for the movie, because his backstory is the same from the comics, but he doesn't read at all like he was in the movie in the comic books,
which is fine. I mean,
but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like, same thing with Ronan, and a little bit of Thanos is a little different.
Right.
Even Peter Quill is a bit different. It doesn't matter, because we can go back to the whole Marvel franchise, like all the way back to the comics. They're always reinventing these characters. This is Earth, what, 999999,
whatever. And Rocket and Groot. Like, I can't wait to go get a plush doll for my daughter for Rocket and Groot. As crass as Rocket is, like, he's just
so lovable.
He's so lovable. Moderate spoiler. Go ahead and mute or bounce forward a couple seconds if you don't want to hear this. But there's this thing at the end between Drax and Rocket that almost made me cry.
Oh,
it was the sweetest moment, and it underlines this whole thing. There's this sweetness, and there's a charm, and there's heart to this movie that is consistent on every level, with the characters and all their motivations, with the soundtrack. The soundtrack is rooted in Peter Quill's story. The way that each of the characters are connecting to each other and discovering these new things about themselves. It's all based on this really sort of innocent sweetness about, like, discovering what adventure is really for, what it's all about.
Finding friends, basically. The story is really finding friends and finding a family when you don't have one.
And ultimately, that's why this movie succeeds, because the heart of this movie is so consistent and so present at every level of this movie. There are some moments that are pretty on the nose, expository kind of moments where,
but at the same time, like,
you don't care,
right? Like, you don't care because it's like, I wonder what. Okay, I got that. You get a monologue from somebody.
I mean, there are moments where you're sitting there and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's my whole backstory. And it's moments like that in a lesser movie you would pick apart and you would write. You'd be like, oh,
what the hell was that? But because the acting was so brilliant, the writing was so brilliant. Like
it was just the whole thing adds
just
up.
Right, you know?
The whole thing adds up to this really fun ride. There was a kid in the row behind me who was yapping before the movie started, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to like start a thing with this kid's mom to get him to shut up, and like I really don't want to do this. But throughout the whole movie, like, I loved having a kid sitting behind me during the movie. Like, you could tell that Groot was his favorite thing because he was up and down with Groot. He was like, oh, Groot, you know? So, I mean, it's just really charming and it's really fun.
Fun for the whole family.
Fun for the whole family. Okay, so getting to some mildly spoilerish type things, we're going to talk a little bit about how it connects to the rest of the Marvel Universe. So, we're going to talk about something else for about 10 seconds while you decide whether or not you want to click away. Did you see that, the Batman the Superman footage?
Yeah, it really looks pathetic.
I actually like that. Really? Kind of fun.
I thought it was...
I love that everybody's like, oh, damn. I just some random link. It's already gone.
No, it's...
Hey, we're back! So, we all knew the Infinity Gauntlet, the Infinity Stones were coming. We all know, or assume, that Avengers 3 is going to be Thanos as the big bad. Like that's what they've been building.
So we got those two reveals of
and they made it official. They described what the Infinity Stones are. They give you some history of the Infinity Stones. They don't name them individually, so you don't have the power of the mind. But you know they show the Tesseract and they show the Ether. I'm not entirely sure what the orb was.
No, not really.
They don't really make that clear. But again, they established that it is an Infinity Stone and that it is super powerful.
One of them. First glimpses of Thanos beyond just a grin.
What did you think? What did you think of Brolin as Thanos?
Oh my god, so good. You can see him he's just ready.
He's having fun. Well, and you saw him at Comic-Con too. He comes out with the gauntlet on
he's
at Comic-Con.
Like
you can tell he's having a blast being Thanos, and he chews some scenery.
You get this moment where Ronan gets the Infinity Stone and is like, I'm going to kill you, you know, Thanos, and Thanos just gets this big grin on his face. He's just like, okay, this is going to be awesome.
Brolin as Thanos, I think, was... I really liked the choice to begin with, but I really like the choice.
Yeah. And we got setups for... You know, we got the Kree introduced, which is huge.
The Kree are there, the Sakarans
we got a little bit of subtle hinting at like either a Captain Marvel or a Ms. Marvel because of the Kree influence and because Nova Corps is all over this bitch.
Nova Corps is everywhere.
Full on Nova Corps, energy nets, everything. And it's phenomenal. It makes me want a Nova Corps movie starring...
John C. Reilly. Yeah, the climactic battle scene in this movie is the best I've seen in years.
Oh,
on top of the heart and on top of everything else we've talked about in this movie.
Talk about
when Ronan's ship is attacking Xandar. The sky battles. It's a battle on several fronts. You got people going onto the ship. You got Rocket leading the ships.
It's like Return of the Jedi level.
It's great. It's great. I mean, it also reminded me of Independence Day too. Independence Day was a great battle scene at the end.
You know, it's just like this is one of those.
And that's where the camera ran out of batteries. Again, because I couldn't get anybody to shoot the thing. Nobody told us the batteries ran out, so we rambled on like a bunch of fanboys for a solid 10 minutes after this. But anyway, go check out Guardians of the Galaxy. It really is as good as we say it is. And let us know what you think about it in the comments below. Come back next time for more movie news on CineFix Now.